Hey guys, in today's video, we're checking out a standalone device that can replace your laptop for your live music performances. We're checking out this guy right here. This is the B-Beat by M Live and is a standalone device that can be used to have multi-track outputs for backing tracks.
Chorus, ready, go.
It also can output MIDI to sync up with your track so that all your pedals and patches all change together, and your lighting can also change together. And on top of that, it even has an HDMI port where you can sync up video to your music as well. So you can put on the whole show, backing tracks, click track, video, lighting, MIDI, all of that stuff from this one device without having to use a laptop live. Pretty incredible. You can program playlists, shows, you can have it really structured, or you can just kind of, choose random songs as you go. This device is super cool, and it's definitely something that I've been looking for a while. And I figured this was something that you guys could definitely be interested in. But it blew my mind that this existed, and I reached out to the company to see if they were interested in having me do a dedicated review on it. And they agreed, so they sent it to me to check out. It's not a paid video or anything like that. All the opinions are my own, but I'll just give you a spoiler alert. This thing is unbelievable, all the stuff that you can do with this standalone device without a laptop. So I am going to be going over a lot of stuff in this video. So use the timestamps below if there's something specific that you want to check out. However, I do recommend watching the whole video just so you can see everything that this thing is capable of doing. So this is a music tech channel. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe, and hitting the like button is a free way to support the channel. And I will post purchase links down below on where you can find this device. It's not available currently on places like Amazon or Sweetwater. Hopefully someday it will get there. I think more musicians should be aware of it because it's really cool. How many times can I say that in the intro? So let's go ahead and get started and check this out. Okay, so you do need to download some software. So you want to go to this website, m-live.com/en/b-beat. I will link to that down below. And you scroll down to the bottom where it says B-Beat Manager, and you download it for Windows or for Mac. Now, once you have the software installed, you can either connect to it with Ethernet, so you can connect Ethernet from the B-Beat to your computer, which is one option. But if you have this wireless pen right here, which is awesome, you can do this wirelessly, actually. So you do have to go into the settings, which you push this button, go to network, and then enable the hotspot. And then what happens is on your computer, you're able to connect to it just like any other wireless device or Wi-Fi device. So I'm going to go to my Wi-Fi, and you can see it found B-Beat, and I'm going to connect to it that way. If it asks for a password, the password at first is just 1234567 So once you are connected to that, open the B-Beat Manager. Sometimes you have to start the search. Sometimes it'll just find it. Once you found it, hit connect, and now you are in, and you can see on your device that you are now connected. Okay, so once you're in here, it's going to look kind of like this. Now, I already have some files in here that I've been messing around with, but you probably won't have anything in here. Just a few things before you start. Go up here to your settings, and you can set the language to English if it's not currently in English, but you can set to one of your language if you're watching in another language as well. Okay, so again, you're going to see nothing in here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just create a new audio project. And this is where you start importing all the stuff that you need: audio, media, MIDI, and PDF. So I'm just going to do audio right now. You can either drag files or you can just click here and load it. All right, so here's a track that I've been working on. This is I Write Sins Not Tragedies, and I'm just going to open up all 5 of these. And you can see it's brought them all in: bass, click, cues, drums, and tracks. I'll show you media, MIDI, and PDF here in a little bit. I think it's actually just easier just to do it this way. So I'm gonna hit transfer to B-Beat. Also, I should have mentioned you give the project a name up here first. It'll automatically fill in for me based on the folder that I imported from. You should probably give it a name as you start. And it's gonna take a little bit of time, but this is gonna be used to get your backing tracks ready. That's what we're gonna do first. Okay, so now you can see that they're all loaded up here. And here's what you want to do is you want to start assigning them to families. Now, this is really smart. It already has click assigned as a family for my click track. All right, Sins Not Tragedies -click. So it automatically assigned this to this one. But what you're going to do, so let's go to this first one. It says no family right here. I'm going to click this, and you're going to add a new family, which I've already done. So I've done that for a couple of these. So you have click, guide, voice are the 2 that it gives you automatically. And then the tracks that I do is I have bass, tracks, which is just like everything else, and then drums. You might have bass, drums, keys, something else, however you want to do it. But you just want to give families in here. So this one is the bass line, so I'm going to assign this to the bass. And it does automatically color code it, which is really nice. So this one is the click, which it automatically assigned to the click. It's very smart about that, which is awesome. This next one right here is cues, which they have called guide voice. So I'm going to enable that. Drums. And then this last one is tracks. We're just getting things set up right now. If it doesn't make sense, just give it a little bit of time. So a few things here. You have a couple of options right here. So this one is link or unlink. So when they're linked, the left and right do go together. And when you unlink them, you can do them separately. This is mute. This is solo. And this is an awesome option. If it's enabled, it will go out the headphone out of the B-Beat port that says phones. And if it's not enabled, it will not go out. So what you could do with this is you could just route guide voice or the cues and the click out just the headphone, which is pretty awesome because then you have 6 separate outputs for tracks and then your click and cues just go out the headphone out if, for example, you just want your drummer to hear just the click and the cues or something like that. But now what you want to do is you want to start routing them here. If you are doing a stereo file, you would click here and I would say, okay, so bass, I'm going to have it go out 1 and 2, right? And then drums would go out 3 and 4 if I was doing stereo outputs, right? However, all of mine are actually mono tracks. I know, I run my tracks in mono, how dare I, but that's the way I do it. It's always just easier just to do mono in my opinion. So the way that you create these into mono is you click this button right here, and it's gonna say, do you wanna split the stereo tracks into mono? I'm gonna say yes, and now he has my left and my right separated, and I'm just going to delete one of them. Before anybody says it, Logic just automatically exports everything in stereo. My tracks are truly mono, and I'm just making it read it as mono in this software. So now it's just in mono. And I'm actually going to do that for all of these because all of my tracks are in mono, especially, click and cues. I obviously do not need those to be in stereo. You could have bass, click, and cues in mono, but drums and tracks could be in stereo. So that is an option as well. Again, I'm just doing all in mono for my personal setup. Do what works best for you and your setup. So now you need to assign each of these stems to go out which port of the B-Beat because you have 6 separate outputs. So now you're going to route them properly. This is the way that I have my tracks routed. I always do drums out number 1. Bass goes out output 2. Tracks goes out number 4. 3 is saved for something different. And again, this is just the way that I do it. You will assign them to whatever you want. Click goes out 5, and then cues goes out 6. So now what this means is that all of my drums will go out the output 1 from the B-Beat. Bass will go out number 2, tracks will go out number 4, click goes out 5, and the cues go out on 6. And again, if I want them to be routed to the headphone out, I would enable them here. Okay, so now I have it all hooked up. I have all of these routed going to my mixer. Channel 1 goes to channel 1, channel 2 to channel 2, and so on and so forth. And then I just have this plugged in so you guys can hear what is happening. This is the mixing app that is controlling my mixer so you guys can see what's happening. And you guys can hear what's happening. So I'm going to bring everything down just to start. And I'm going to scroll down on the B-Beat until I get to Alright Sins Not Tragedies because that's the one that I'm doing. And I will show you playlists and shows and stuff later, but to get to your songs, you just go to library, and then these have all the songs that I've made in here. We're doing the Panic at the Disco song, so I'm going to push play, and you can see I'm getting a signal here. Actually, let me start it over.
I write sins, not tragedies.
Here are the tracks. Turn down the click, turn up the tracks.
Vocals
Let me
in,
fast forward to
ready
a part
go.
that has drums. There's bass. Drums. There's not many tracks in this one. Get to the verse 2. There you go. So I can turn up and down the tracks. Turn down the drums. Turn up the click. To get to kind of the bridge.
Bridge go.
And so you can see that I have individual control over each of the tracks because these are 6 separate outputs. So I get multi-track output from the B-Beat to route it to wherever you want. I'm routing it to my mixer and I can mix it accordingly. You can route it however you need to. Pretty awesome. So that's how you organize backing tracks. And you can see I have that done for quite a few tracks in here. So here's one for 500 miles. Same idea. All the routing is the same. Everything's basically the same. You're pretty much just going to do this for all the songs that you need. Okay, so next up, we're going to import video and pictures into this so that you can sync up images to your music. So you're going to go up here and you go, instead of audio projects, which is this page that we're on right now, we're going to go to media. And here's where you're going to start importing your media. So I have one video up here. But you're going to transfer images and videos into here. Same idea, you can drag and drop or just click right here. And I have 2 things I'm going to load up. I'm going to load up a video that I use for my live show, and then just a picture. Uploading, you can see it right here, and transfer to BBeat. Depends on how big your video files are, obviously. This can take a little while, but it's going to convert the media and then it's going to upload it to the BBeat. Okay, so now that is in here, and now these media files are uploaded. So I have a picture and I have test footage. So now I'm going to go back to I Write Sins, Not Tragedies. You can either double click it or click this edit button right here. And down here under extra content, this is where you're going to choose your MIDI and your media files from the list. So select media from the list. What video do you want to use? So I'm going to do this one. Obviously, this is just 30 seconds compared to the full song, but I'm going to do set media. And now you see it right here. You can see how long it's going to go, but you do get this option. You can click loop right here. And now it's going to loop until the end of the song. So it is a 30-second clip, so it's just going to keep repeating that 30-second clip until the end of the song, which is pretty cool. Okay, so now I have the HDMI port right here connected to just this little screen. It's just a little screen that I use so I can monitor myself while I'm filming YouTube videos. Obviously, you would do this on something bigger, but just for this demo, you can see. So when I go to I Write Sins, Not Tragedies and hit play, you can see that the video syncs up with the music. And if I scroll forward, let's see, go to, about 30 seconds in, that's the end of the loop. And then it goes back and starts all over again. So that it is looping and it is syncing up to the music in the way that I want. Pretty awesome that you get this option with this little device. Pretty incredible. But yeah, HDMI out, HDMI in, and you can sync up your music with visuals. Pretty incredible. So that's how you upload videos. And again, you can do the same thing. I'm going to delete this. And you can do the same thing with an image as well. So this is just a picture of my solo project. I'm going to set that as the image, and it will just display that image. And then here, this is where you're going to upload your MIDI files. And I have made just a test MIDI file for this, and I'm going to upload that and then hit save, and it has saved. Obviously, this only goes so far. I'm just doing it for a demo, but this shows you how long my MIDI file is, and it's going to send MIDI information to my external devices. So the BBeat has the MIDI out, and I'm going to connect my devices that I want to control with MIDI. I'm going to be doing this with the HX Stomp, and you can see it will send MIDI changes, and it will push the buttons that I want it to push on my MIDI gear. This is not a video about how to program MIDI. I have a lot of videos about that, specifically with the HX Stomp, but I do have a master video about understanding MIDI if you are interested in figuring out how to do this. Okay, so you're going to connect your MIDI devices. So this is really interesting. They chose to go with 3.5 millimeter MIDI. I'm not really sure why they did that instead of just standard 5-pin MIDI. I'm going to do this wirelessly. So the WIDI Jack and the WIDI Master are awesome wireless MIDI devices. And if you get anything in the WIDI ecosystem, they automatically pair with each other. So the WIDI Jack is awesome because you can use multiple adapters. So I could use this with 5-pin MIDI if I wanted to, but it comes with 3.5 as an option. So basically the WIDI Jack and the WIDI Master are paired together now. Check out my videos. I've reviewed both. They're pretty incredible products. If you do get a hardwired MIDI device, you do have to make sure that you're using 3.5 millimeter Type B. If you get Type A, it doesn't work. Ordered this one by Boss and it didn't work. I will post links down below so you can make sure that you get the correct one. But this is sending wireless MIDI signal to my HX Stomp. So when I go to I Write Sins, you're going to see what it's going to do. I'm going to just go to a random preset here. It's going to change my preset twice, and then it'll push this button, and then this button, and then this button, because that's how I have it programmed for this demo. When I hit play, preset 1, preset 2, and that's going to push button 3, and then 2, and then 1. There you go. So all these devices, so obviously you would do that on a bigger scale, program all of your devices to go with the music. So the way that I use this is that this is like a clean tone. And then when it goes to the chorus, I want it to turn on distortion. And then when it goes to my guitar solo, it goes here, which turns on some delay and reverb and stuff like that. So I never have to pedal dance. My pedal syncs up directly to the music and I never have to pedal dance, which is pretty incredible. So I know that we're talking about MIDI right now, and you might be asking, well, what about lighting? So it doesn't have like a DMX out specifically. However, I did just release a video about how you can use MIDI to control your DMX lights. So if you are interested in doing that, be sure to check out the video, and I go into detail about how MIDI can send messages to control your DMX lights, and then you can have your lighting sync up with the music as well. So check out that video if you are interested in controlling lighting using MIDI and using this device. So now I have all my backing tracks in here and they are routed out the correct spot. I have my MIDI track imported and then I have my video track imported. So this song is done. And basically you just want to do that. You're going to repeat that process for all the songs that you want to do. Okay, so now that you have all your songs figured out, you know how to add media and stuff like that. Let's make some playlists. So in order to get to playlists, you go up here to playlists. You'll see none, and let's just create a new one. Let's just call it set 1. And it automatically opens up and then just start adding projects in here. So let's say I'm going to add these 4, add to the playlist, and then you can rearrange it into whatever order you would like. You can also do this on the device itself, and I'll show you that here in a little bit. Very, very simple. Do another playlist, set 2, add the files that you want for set 2. You know, you could have one called 90s hits and stuff like that, and you could save them that way. Should make sense on how to do this. It's very, very simple to do that. Okay, so now just some navigation in here. You basically have some options here. So you can either go to your library, your playlist, or your shows up here. And I will show you shows that's coming up next, but that's easier just to access down here. So if you hit library, you get to see all the songs that you have in your library. So these are all the ones that I have, 24 Karat Magic, 3AM, and so on and so forth. And you can choose your song that way. So for I Write Sins, I would go to select that one and push play. Something pretty cool with that. So while it's playing, if I go to library and I want to say, you know, if I go to 3 a.m., I can click that and set it as next. And you'll see right here that it sets that to the next song. So then as soon as this song is done and I get here towards the end, what it's going to do, it will go to 3 a.m. after that. So that's a pretty cool way to use this. Something else that's really cool, so let me just go ahead and stop it for right now. So let's go back to I Write Sins, Not Tragedies, since that's the one I was working on. And what you can do is you can go to the menu and you can see the level meter. So you can see the levels of everything. But more importantly, you can edit the track. I know that this is in alphabetical order, so bass, click, cues, drums, and tracks. But let's say that the bass was just blaring loud. I can start turning it down here if I needed to. I could also mute it if I wanted to, and I can enable it to go out the headphone out or not the headphone out. So again, that will go out the headphones if it's enabled, and it will not go out the headphones if it's disabled. I can also go into here, so if I screwed up the routing, I can go here and I can say actually put that to output 3, you know, or output 4, whatever I need it to go to. Super cool that you can do a lot of this in the device itself. So if you screw up, you don't need the software to fix something. That's absolutely brilliant. So let's go back. And again, you can scroll forward. I want to go to, you know, 2 minutes and 20 seconds and then push the button and it will continue to play from there. If you need to rewind, you can go to here. If you want to stop it, you push stop once, it'll just pause it and then push play again and we'll continue from there. Or you can push stop twice and we'll go back to the beginning. Let's fast forward it. So you have pause, stop, and then just get out of it completely. And then you can go to your playlists over here. So let's say, well, I didn't load anything to 90s hits, but you can create a new playlist too. So I could, you know, here's a new list and I can say, what do I want to add to it? So let's add 24 Karat, add 3 a.m., and then add Billie Jean. And I can move it around if I want to as well. So let's actually say I want Billie Jean to be first and then back out of it. But now I have a new playlist. And so I can go into the playlist and then it's here. And the thing that's nice about this, so when I push play, it automatically has a 24 Karat Magic is coming up next. It gives you an indicator, you know, where you're at in the song. This is the playlist that you're on, this list 9 playlist. And the next song coming up is 24 Karat. And I can push skip if I want to skip that and say okay, and we'll go to the next song instead. Very, very cool how it does that. And the same here, you can edit the tracks if you need to in the same menu of the current song that you're on. So even if there's a song that's not in the playlist and I want to add it in from the library, I can still do that and set it as the next song. 500 Miles, I could click it and say set as next, and it will put that into the set list. It doesn't actually add that into the actual playlist, but it will add it as the next song. So you're not just stuck on that playlist exactly. Super smart. God, this thing, they really, really thought this thing out. You have this live button right here. So when you enter live mode, you can't do anything else. So see, if I try to do it, it'll say, do you want to exit from live mode? Hit cancel. If I try to hit menu, it won't do it. If I try to hit any of these other buttons, it won't let me do that. The only options that I have are play and stop. I can't fast forward or anything. I can't rewind or anything. I can just do stop and play. because then I can push it again to get out of it, and then I can fast forward. So no one will accidentally bump something and change something around if you don't want them to. A couple of controls right here. So you do have master control over your backing tracks. Just the backing tracks, you can turn them up or down. You can turn the click up or down, and you can turn the master volume up and down. You do get this line in here as well. You do have 2 separate ports here on the side that you have for input. I don't personally really use that, but if you are getting an input of something, you have volume control right there as well. Something else really smart, they do have this input for a pedal right here. So you probably would only need 1 button for this, but this is just a foot controller that I use with my HX Stomp, but it does the same thing. When you plug it in here, so you can see right now it's playing. Push it, now it stops, or pauses it, push it again, and now it resumes. You don't get it so where you push stop twice and it stops it. It's just play and then pause. So pretty helpful. So going deeper than this, you can actually do something called shows and scenes. So shows and scenes are basically just a way to organize if you're going to be on a specific show. If your show is, it's going to start here, it's going to end here, not really going to change much, this would be the way to do that. So the first thing you actually have to do is you have to make scenes. So you're going to have no scenes in here. So you're just going to click create a new scene. Let's just call this YouTube. And then when you're in this scene, what you do is you have add a slot to the scene. So you can do an audio project, you can do just a metronome, you can do just media, and you can do silence. So most of the time, you're probably going to choose a song. So let's say the show is going to start with 3 a.m., add to scene. Next part is going to go into 24 Karat Magic, add a scene. And then after that, 500 miles and so on and so forth. So this is all going to put it in order. Now you do get this option of you can say stop between or just go immediately into the next song and you can set a delay. So if you want, a 5-second delay between it so that you can introduce something or something like that, you have that option. What it's going to play 3 a.m. and then it's going to wait 5 seconds and automatically play 24 Karat. And then it's going to pause. So once 24 Karat Magic is over, you have to push the play button in order to start 500 miles. Really cool just to make the show flow really well. So now let's add another scene. Let's say we're going to do a metronome at 120 beats per minute for 30 seconds or something like that. This could be useful if you play to a song without any backing tracks, but you just want to play to like a click track. You could just do video as well. So if you just wanted to show some video, this clip is 30 seconds long so that there's something going on while you're talking to the crowd. And then, we're going to start levitating after that. And I want it to start immediately after that. And then I write Sins Not Tragedies right after that. And then I'm just going to have, just blank, just some silence for 15 seconds. And we end with Billie Jean. So now you have this entire show mapped out. It's going to follow this sequence right here. And you can see that this is a 23-minute show. So this is really good. So it's like, we have a half-hour set. So I need to add a little bit more into it. So now we're at 28, so that should be fine, with pauses and talking to the crowd and stuff like that. That's a really great way to map out your show. So something really brilliant about this is I can add media to this scene. So I'm going to just drop in like my logo or something like that. And now it'll always display the logo unless if one of the individual parts of the scene has video. So I write Sins Not Tragedies has that video, so it will override the logo with the video. But anytime that there's nothing on the screen, it will do this logo. That's a really smart way to just have your logo displayed. Very, very cool. So now this is the entire scene right here. So the thing is that you do want to make like another scene. So let's just call this, set 2 or something like that. Same idea. I'm just going to do a few things here really quick. So this is another scene that I've set up as well. And let's just do the logo, right? So now I have 2 different scenes set up, this YouTube scene and set 2. So now, once you have your scenes set up, you can go to your shows. And now what you do is you're going to create a new show. So this is, Scott, YouTube, amazing show. And now within here, this is where you start adding scenes to the show. So I'm going to start with the YouTube one and then do set 2, add to the show. And again, of course, you can drag and move these around. So it's going to do the YouTube scene, and then it'll go to set 2. This can be really valuable if you have a specific set in mind. So I would have set 1, set 2, and set 3, and then I would stop it between each one. Or you could automatically go into the next one. So it'll go through all of the YouTube scene and then go into set 2. You can loop it, which is interesting. I don't think I'll ever use that, but you might find that useful. Or it can stop right between. And there you go. So that's how you organize a show. That is a much more mapped out way to program a show. Okay, so let's do shows. So you can either get to that here or you can just click shows and you can see that here. Something that's interesting is you can also just get to your scenes and trigger your scenes. So these are the two scenes right here. Just me personally, I find myself gravitating more towards just triggering scenes because again, you can just trigger, here's the YouTube scene. And now it's going to start there. It's just playing this scene. If I wanted to load Scott's YouTube Amazing Show, it would play through YouTube and then set to. But I do find myself just gravitating towards playing scenes instead. So you have shows or scenes. I'm just going to trigger the YouTube scene. So I push play, and you can see that my logo's playing. So that's my logo for my original music. I'll link to it up above and down below if you do want to check it out. Shameless promotion. But what's going to happen is, so now, if you remember, I had it set so when the song ended, it would do a 5-second delay. Saying 5-second transition, and then it's going to load 24 Karat Magic after that. There you go. And it says the next one is 500 miles. If I do want to skip that, I can push skip. Say, okay, I don't want to do that. It's going to go to the metronome. I said, I don't want to go to the metronome, but I want to go to this, video file or whatever that I have here. So again, when the song is over, get to the end here, and it'll automatically go to the next thing, which is just a video file. No music or anything like that. And it loads up the footage right here. You do get some indicators that'll say there's no transition into levitating. It will not pause. It will just automatically load levitating, which it did. Same with the next song. It'll automatically load I Write Sins, Not Tragedies, which again, I do have this video set on a loop for that one. So it overrides the logo and it'll do the video. And then you see this, it says man, which stands for manual. So when it gets to the end of the song, now it pauses and it's waiting for me to physically push the button. So I have to push play. Kind of silly that I put silence here, but that's okay. But you have to, whatever the next song is, you have to physically push play in order to get there. So you can see it has it here as well. So at the end of Billie Jean, once the song is over, I manually have to push play. So that's good if you have moments where you want to talk to the crowd or if you want it to just instantly go into the next song. So in order to trigger Dirty Little Secret, I have to push the play button and then it will start that. Pretty cool. I love that it gives you that option, kind of spur of the moment, a little more structure and super structured. And also you do have just a metronome if you do want to have just a click track to going, like I mentioned, of a song that doesn't have tracks or something like that. But between that, syncing up video, syncing up MIDI, this device is just really incredible. It truly is. They really, really thought this device out. Very, very cool. Well, there you go. That was a lot of stuff to go over, but I really wanted to show you guys all the stuff that this thing can do. If this is something that you are interested in, I will post purchase links down below so that you can check it out for yourself. If you do end up deciding to get this device based on this review, using that link is a free way to support the channel. I definitely would appreciate it. This video took a long time to put together, so I would definitely appreciate it if you did use those links, if you did decide to purchase this based on this video review. So just a couple things to know about it. So first of all, it is listed currently as a time of shooting. It's $525. I've seen it go up to about $600, but it'll fluctuate between $500 and $600. I think it's definitely a very fair price for what it does. Obviously, it's going to be an investment, but so is a laptop. And if you get a laptop, you have to have an interface and all this other stuff. So I definitely think it's very well priced for all the stuff that this thing does. There are some other things that you can get with this. So that wireless pen is what they call it. I highly recommend getting that. And I will post the purchase link for that down below as well. That's just an easier way to connect to it. And there's one more thing that it's used for that I'm going to address here at the end. I know the video's not done yet. And also they do have a hard case for protecting it and also a clip that clips onto a mic stand so you can attach this to a mic stand if you want. Both of those will be linked down below as well. I know the video is already long enough, so I'm going to briefly talk about two last things. So one, using that USB port that I use to connect to it wirelessly to my computer, you actually can connect like a USB drive to that and run backing tracks off of it that way if you prefer as well, which is pretty cool if you need to play backing tracks in a pinch. And then last but not least, while I was working on this video, they came out with a firmware update and I updated it and they added a new feature. It's not even listed in the manual, at least of the one that I have yet, but it's super cool. It's with a PDF, so I never addressed the PDF. So you can drag in PDFs into your files and you can save them into multiple categories. So you could import like 4 different PDFs for one song and you can put them into different groups. Let's just say just vocals, keyboards, guitar, and bass. The singer would see probably just lyrics, keyboard player would probably see sheet music, and then the guitar player and the bass player will probably see chord charts. So once you've done that, you can also go into the timeline and you can say when the PDF is going to change. So it'll go from PDF page 1, and then when it needs to switch to page 2, it'll switch to page 2 at the exact moment in the song that it needs to do that. And then you download their teleprompter app and you connect to it via Wi-Fi, just like we did at the beginning of this video. And then on your singer's phone or iPad, they would connect to this app. They would connect to the Wi-Fi and they would choose the vocal one and would display all their lyrics. And then the keyboard player would see all the sheet music and the guitar player would see all of the chord charts. They would go to their correct group or their correct family. It was brand new. I could not get it to work as of the time of this video. However, I'm more than willing to bet that they're going to have this fixed within a couple of weeks. I'm willing to bet that. That even takes it to another level. It was really unbelievable. They really thought this thing out. I'm truly blown away with this thing. And I'm incredibly grateful that they sent it to me to check out. This is such a cool device, and it solves a problem I think a lot of musicians could be interested in checking out. So once again, purchase links will be down in the description down below. Again, using those links is a free way to support the channel, and I would appreciate it because this video did take a long time to put together. So that's basically it. If you guys found this video helpful, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. It does a ton to support the YouTube algorithm, so I would sincerely appreciate it. Check out some of my other videos I've done. I have a video explaining why I am pro backing tracks. I'm assuming if you watch this video, you probably are as well, but I go into detail about why I'm pro backing tracks. And I also have a video going over my compact, somewhat compact in-ear monitor rig setup. So if you're interested in checking out either of those videos, click the links on your screen now. Don't forget to follow me on my social media pages, mostly on Instagram at Scott Ewell Music. Thank you guys again for watching. If you have any other cool gear you want me to check out, please leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.